Hey guys, welcome back to Master Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and today we have a big video for you guys. We are going to be going over almost every single melee monster in the Tyranid Codex right now, 9th edition, as well as a few Forge World options, and we're going to compare how they do against all of our typical opponents, see which ones are the most points efficient, and kind of just get a little dive in from there. So if that all sounds good to you, do like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our content here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios. And if you do want to consider supporting us just a little bit more, do consider becoming a member. Members, thank you very much. You're really what help us keep going and able to grow here on YouTube. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into today's video. So let's meet all of our contenders here. We have got a Screamer Killer with Adrenal Glands, a Toxicrin, a Harusfex. Trigon Prime also works with a Trigon with Adrenal Glands. Turfagon with Adrenal Glands and the Maw Claws, because that's really the competitive melee variant. We have a Flying Hive Tyrant with Adrenal Glands and the Reaper of Obliterax. Side Hero Duel, a Daimakaron, the Swarmlord, and old OneEye. So so you guys know where we're going. Let's dive deeper into each of these a little bit more. So the Screamer Killer is 140 points, rocking in with a weapon skill of 3+, 11 attacks on the charge, strength 7, AP -3, damage 3. Some pros of this is that they are core, they have built-in -1 damage, and because they are 9 wounds, they don't bracket at all, so they're as effective on 9 as they are on 1. They're also very fast for a melee monster. Some cons of them: adaptive physiologies typically aren't worth it too much on these guys unless you're playing a really small, like 500 or 1,000 point game. But other than that, there aren't too many drawbacks to a Screamer Killer like this. We then have the Toxicrin. The Toxicrin is a 150 point beast, coming out weapon skill 3+, 12 attacks, strength 7, AP -2, and damage 1. Some pros: it's got a lot of abilities. You can lock its opponents in combat. It's got pretty good durability, decent speed, and a 2+ poison really helps it out against infantry. Some cons: it's only AP -2, damage 1. And in an age of Armor of Contempt, it's just not that great. It is not core, so you can't really buff this thing up too much beyond a few stratagems. Also, its model footprint is huge, so if you're playing at an event or a tournament where they say, which is typical, that if they can see part of the model, they can shoot it, it's impossible to hide this thing. So it does run into a lot of issues where the model is just obnoxiously large. So cons there for the Toxicrin. And then the Harusfex, 170 points. He has got a varying melee profile, weapon skill 3+, 15 attacks at strength 7, AP -1, damage 2, or 5 attacks at strength 14, AP -3, damage 3 plus D3. So very good there. You could technically mix and match, so if you want to do like 3 swings with the big claws and then 6 swings with the little ones, you can do it that way. Some pros: very good durability, toughness 8 and 2-up save. Free regen, so he regens when he kills models, that's good. And then the variable melee profiles means he does do well against a wider variety of targets than some other monsters. Some cons: he's not core, and his sweep attacks or his Ravenous Maw attacks are only AP -1, which in, again, Armor of Contempt times is not very good against Marines right now. So they're damage 2, but no AP means you're kind of hoping for a few failed armor saves there. The Trigon Prime also works with the Trigon, having Adrenal Glands. Comes in at 150 points. That is the standard Trigon. Trigon Prime comes in at 190 points. But his stats are a weapon skill 3+, 12 attacks, strength 8, AP -3, damage 2. Pretty good there. Pros: he's got -1 to hit. Potentially, he can turn off rerolls with his static tail aura thingy. And his built-in stuff is +1 advance and charge, so he can get into combat faster with his Synaptic Imperative. Cons, no Invone on a Trygon Prime, and no adaptive physiologies because the Prime is a character. If you take him on a standard Trygon, you can give it a Dermic Symbiosis Invone save, but on a Prime itself, none of that stuff. So he's quite a glass cannon. Next, we'll move into the Turfagon with Adrenal Glands and Maw Claws, so quickly becoming one of my favorite models. He's weapon skill 3+, she is, and it's got variable melee, which is always a plus. You can do 10 attacks at strength 8, AP -3, damage 2, or 5 attacks at strength 11, AP -4, damage 2d3, so on average 4 of them there. Pros is that this thing has got insane durability. Not only is it toughness 8 with a 2-up save, but it also can be character protected if there's a unit of 15 or more gaunts within range of it. So that's wild. And again, another pro is that because this is the Maw Claws we're giving it, reroll wound rolls all the time, and if it finishes off a unit, it keeps gaining attacks, which can grow the Turfagon to immense capabilities in melee. Cons, no adaptive physiologies again as a character, and no core, obviously it's a character, so limited ways to buff it beyond what we've already done. We have the Flyrant with Adrenal Glands and the Reaper of Obliterax. Many people's staple core melee threat to their army. For good reason. It is weapon skill 2+, 5 base attacks, strength 9, AP -4, damage 3. Actually, with the bonuses, I believe it's strength 11, AP -4, damage 3. The pros are, the thing is very fast. A 17-inch move is just phenomenally fast for something that hits so hard. You have overrun potential to move this thing after it kills something anywhere else on the battlefield pretty much with a 17-inch move. It does a good thing where with the Reaper of Obliterax, for every wound roll it gets through, you take mortal wounds in addition. So if you do 5 wounds, that is 5 mortal wounds plus the 5 other wounds they have to save, so it really stacks on the damage there. Not really any cons for the Flyrant. You do worry about, because it is a huge footprint with its wings, if you aren't taking Tyrant Guard, you have to worry about that thing getting killed and losing all your Synaptic Imperatives right away. Now let's go into the side, the Hero Duel, an old Crusher Stampede classic. Weapon skill 3+, 6 attacks at strength 10, AP -3, damage 3 plus D3. Good sizable damage there. Some pros is that it's got great speed. It has good shooting, not that we're going to talk about this too much in this video, but good shooting. And it is pretty durable, toughness 8, 3-up save. It also has the old Scything Talon rule where it gets to reroll ones to hit in melee innately, so that's really good. Cons, it's not that good against horde type units or like 10 tactical marines. It'll kill them in melee, but it's not going to kill them fast enough compared to some of these other options, just because it is 6 attacks and they're more so 6 big attacks. Also with Armor Contempt now, it's got kind of low-ish AP, so they're only AP -3 base, so all Space Marines are getting pretty much 5-up saves on these guys, which is not that great for the size of the monster, but you know, something there to consider. We have a Daimakar on something that used to be really, really good, but with multiple point increases and the addition of Armor Contempt has really seen it from an S tier or an A tier all the way down to a C or D tier monster for the Tyranids. The Daimakar, weapon skill 3+, 6 attacks at strength 8, AP -3, damage 3 plus D3, and you get to reroll your failed hit rolls with these things because they are the sickle talons. Some pros is that this thing has really good speed, being able to use that leaper rule to its advantage. It has a built-in invone, unlike most Tyranids, so that's great. And then it has its thorax ability. Later in the damage calculation, I'm not going to touch on that, but it's a chance, typically a 33% chance to deal more mortal wounds to your opponent and give yourself a feel no pain. So good pros there. Cons is that it is big. You can't hide it because it has 18 wounds. It physically cannot hide unless it truly is completely hidden from line of sight. And the thing is really expensive, like I said, 280 points is a lot for this thing. So that's a Dimakaran, good old Forge World favorite. Swarmlord now, can't forget about some of our other HQs. Weapon skill 2 up, 9 attacks, strength 9, AP -4, damage 3. Very solid in that AP -4 does go a long way. So pros, he is fairly tanky. Toughness 8, 2 up save, 13 wounds. He's got his blade parry rule, which now just takes the first damage he suffers and reduces it to 0. So that's pretty good. And he's got a lot of good support abilities with psychic and command phase stuff. So good support character too. Cons, he is quite a big points investment because he is 240 points. And if you want to take Tyrant Guard, that's another 135 points, 120 points. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but it's another big point investment for your army. So you're pretty much contributing almost a fourth of your army, really like a fifth of your army to this unit. So you really got to hope they do their job. But all in all, that's Swarmlord. And another one of my personal favorite models, longtime favorite, but he's been stepping up right now, even though he got a point increase, is old OneEye. He is weapon skill 2 up. He's got many attacks at strength 10, AP -4, damage 2 plus D3. So pretty good there on his main claws. He gets 7 plus D3 attacks on the charge, so average of 9. Technically it's 6, and then on the charge it's D3 plus 1. So on average 9 claw attacks. He gets 2 scything talon attacks and 3 tail attacks. So lots of stuff there. Some pros. He can have character protection. He's only got 9 wounds. He can buff himself. One of the only characters left in 9th edition who can still buff himself. If your opponent ever has a -1 to hit coming into effect, he can give himself +1 to hit in the command phase. He's got decent durability at toughness 7, 2 up save, and reduced damage. He also has built-in, if you take his warlord trait, 5 up feel no pain, and he regens wounds every turn. So no invuln save, can't give him that in any way really, but pretty powerful, and he's really our only beat stick, true smash captain of a character, where all he does is combat. And yeah, cons, no invuln. So now we've covered all of those. I tried to rapid fire so they don't take too long, because in general you know what they are. Let's go over this sheet you see here. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit, so don't get too overwhelmed with it. I have ranked across the top our typical opponents, as you have seen in many of our deep dive type videos. We've got the Eldar Guardian, a Intercessor, a heavy Intercessor, Eradicator, Aggressor type model, a Centurion, because I think they are still a unique profile that you have to deal with sometimes, a Tau, what are they called? Battlesuit, Crisis Battlesuit, Standard Transport, and an Imperial Knight. Pretty good variety of your opponents you're going to go up against. On the left, we have all of our opponents in here, or I should say our units, our contenders. And then in the middle, I've broken their kills up to 2 forms. So one, they have the number of kills or KOs I have put them as that they get on average. And then in the parentheses, you see a 20 P per K, that is points per kill. How many points, if you divide the kills they have, or divide the point value of the model, divided by the number of kills they have, how many points per kill do they achieve? Typically on this, the lower the better. It means they're more efficient. So if you look just quickly, the Toxicrin has 125 points per kill on the, or costs 125 points per kill on the Eradicators, whereas a Flyrant is only 34 points per kill. Just a way to kind of convey the efficiency of melee, and again, something to consider, and I'll talk about this again, is that this is only going over pure melee damage. The rest of it, I mean, you could argue, yes, a Flyrant has psychic and command abilities and all of this, but we're just looking at the melee. So bear with it. It's more of just a thought exercise, and we'll see here. So I'm not going to go through every single one here, because my God, that is a lot. It took me a while to do this, but just some of the highlights you can see. There are a few units that stand out. So the green ones are kind of the the best in category type ones, and the red ones are kind of worst in category type ones, and then everybody else falls in the middle. So immediately you can see Screamer Killers and Old OneEye are typically some of the best across the board. This is pretty obvious to say that they are just designed to be melee only. They will stand out a little bit better. The Flyrant with his upgrades he's pretty good. He's best in class on 3 of them, or close to best in class on 3 of them, and on the infantry side. And when he comes to tanks, he's still very good, but he's not as good as, say, Carnifex or something like that. He's missing out on a little bit of the strength, a little bit of the AP, a little bit of the damage, but all in all, good there. Some ones that's pretty rough to show how bad they are. The Toxicrin really does suffer. I mean, even his specialty going up against the Guardians, which I would say is that type of infantry is what he's designed to kill. He's only getting 6 of them. He's, 25 points per kill, where a Haruspex, a Trigon Prime, an old OneEye, everything is pretty much at his level or better. So, I mean, take the Toxicrin, and that's just for Guardians, which there aren't a ton of people playing mass Guardian type units anymore. Then you have Space Marines, a lot of middle of the board ones. You can see the Haruspex, like I said earlier, really suffers going up against standard Marines because he basically is AP 0 against them. And then you can see like anywhere where it says for this Haruspex 2 or 2, so that would be his multi-attack versus his few smash attack. Like the Turfagon, you can see against the Fire Warriors, he's got his multi-attack versus or the Crisis Suit's multi-attack versus his smash attacks or his strike attacks. But yeah, screenshot it, pause this, whatever you want to do, just to kind of get an idea of how these monsters do in combat. And then we can just wrap it up with a little bit of a conclusion. This, again, like I said, only takes into account pure melee damage. It does not account for, in terms of their points efficiency, it doesn't account for their potential in the command phase, the psychic powers, the shooting, durability. All of that is not accounted for in this when you're looking at points efficiency, just purely on the melee side. I think it's really interesting just to kind of look and see where all of these models stand. Obviously, when you're looking through things, you have an idea of where they are, but it's not until you look at something like this and you can really see, okay, I see how these models are truly this efficient or truly that lack of inefficient, if you will. So that's all I got. Please, if you did enjoy this video, you appreciate it. This spreadsheet essentially took a long time to make, so please like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do for this. It would mean a lot for me because it did take a long time. But that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Is there a better way I could have gone about showing off their efficiency? Do you want me to do something like this for all shooting? I kind of already did, but there's just, there's so many models in the Tyranid Codex that we can only do so much at once. So thank you guys again for watching. We'll catch you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.